responsibility for over 31 years now, and looking forward to the next 30. So we've been very blessed to meet this way on this call every Monday night now for right at 28 years. And we've also been very blessed to have people who come to us with great knowledge and information in many different directions, our product, our business, and the way that we share with others. And to give you just a little company history, the Juice Plus Company is sneaking up on 50 years now. We'll be 50 years old in 2020. And so we've been in the marketplace a long time. We were actually the company that introduced smoke detectors for the home back in 1970. And, of course, that laid the foundation for great success to come. In the early 80s, water filtration and air filtration. And 25 years ago this year, we entered the field of health technology with Juice Plus and the Juice Plus family of products. And what a find that has been, not only for our own health and well-being, but also for those people that we love and the others that we come across on a daily basis. It's a wonderful way to share good health with the world and at the same time make a difference as far as people and their financial security and stability, because it's a great combination of product and business as well. Tonight we have two very special speakers with us, and I know you're going to enjoy this a lot. We have with us Dr. Jill Moore, who is a National Marketing Director, and Andrea Cavallio, which is a qualifying National Marketing Director. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about each one of them, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Moore. Dr. Jill Moore is a 24 Club member. She's also a National Marketing Director from Bel Air, Maryland. She is a doctor of chiropractic with a specialty in pediatric, prenatal, and family wellness. She owned and operated a private chiropractic clinic for 10 years. She retired last year from practice to pursue her Juice Plus business exclusively. She is also a wife and mother of 3 beautiful young girls and loves setting the example for them to never give up on their dreams. She's passionate about helping her community experience health from the inside out and also securing their financial future through the Juice Plus business model. And she'll be sharing with us, and she'll be joined by Andrea. And I'd like to give you a little background on Andrea Cavallio also. She's a 12 Club member and a qualifying National Marketing Director, right there to step up into top position of NMD. She lives in southern Pennsylvania with her husband, Joseph. They have 3 young children. Andrea's background is in elementary education, and she taught in classroom setting for 7 years before following her heart to stay at home with her children. She loves being outdoors and making memories with her family, and is so thankful for the Juice Plus business as it allows her to continue serving her community while being able to be the wife and mom first. So, Dr. Moore, I'm going to turn it over to you and then share with us, and you and Andrea together.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm so honored to be here with all of you. I love this call. I've been a part of this company now for almost 6.5 years. It's been just truly an honor. And, this was really just a tremendous blessing for me. Before I got into this business, I was burning the candle at both ends in my practice. I was suffering with a tremendous amount of fibromyalgia pain, tons of just general musculoskeletal pain, headaches, anxiety, fatigue. And after getting on our Trio blend, within 2 weeks, my pain levels went down 80%. I was a new person. Then I went on to have a 3rd child, my best pregnancy ever, telling everybody about it, loved the product. I fell in love with the business even more because it was really what was going to get me out of my practice, which I loved, but I knew it wasn't something sustainable for me, and this was just such a tremendous blessing to be able to pour into my community and really be able to make these changes. So, a huge passion for me is, really owning my life. I'm the youngest kid in my family. I'm like, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it kind of person, and this business lets me do all of that. So for all of you on the line, if you're a part of our organization, you're an independent business owner. I always say we do this business. We're independent, but we don't work independently. We really work so strongly as a team. But you really own your world. You own your life. And we really do it because we don't give up. And that's really a huge testament to my experience in owning my practice for 10 years and transitioning into this business. the reason that I can, do this as my quote unquote full-time career now and not have to, show up at an office or report to really anybody is because I didn't give up, and I continue to learn and grow and develop my skills. And I love doing that. Growth is a huge passion of mine, and I love that this really just marries so beautifully. So really this call is very much about relationships, relationship building 101. And how many of us really need that? I think whether, you're really great at it, but maybe maybe we make new friends, but do we keep them as well? And, it's such a skill that we really have to build throughout our life. And this is a perfect platform to be able to do that because it does create tremendous richness in our lives. Relationships are the currency of our world. By improving your relationship skills, you're going to directly affect your health, your wealth, and your happiness. According to a Harvard Health newsletter, it said that health benefits of strong relationships are numerous. Good connections can help increase longevity, improve overall health. Dozens of studies have shown that people who have satisfying relationships with family, friends, and their community are happier and have fewer health problems and live longer. And our business is a relationship business. We are in the business of making and collecting friends. And the great news is that people are everywhere. So I actually want to pass it over to my best friend, Andrea, who we've been doing this business for really since the get-go together. We're strikingly different from a personality standpoint, but balance each other out. And she's going to touch on that and really talk about personality types. So, Andrea?
Thank you, Jill. I love that our business truly is all about making and collecting friends. And I love that I get to work with my best friend where we really had the huge blessing to grow up together. So for those of you who don't know, Jill and I have actually been friends for 25 years now. So Jill, our friendship age is as old as Deuce Plus, which I think is pretty cool. We met in 6th grade and now have such a blast working together. And I'm just forever grateful for her sharing this product and business with me because it truly transformed my life and the lives of my entire family. Just to kind of paint a picture for you guys, 6 years ago this fall was when we started our Juice Plus journey. And we started at that time in a desperate place of just utter desperation. I only had 2 children then. My daughter Glennie was 2 and my son Gavin was 4 years old. And what Jill wasn't aware of was that Gavin was chronically sick as an infant and toddler. So much so that that's when I took that bold leap of faith with my husband's support and left my teaching job to stay home with my children in hopes that with him not being in daycare, and me not being exposed to so many germs as an elementary school teacher would allow Gavin's immune system to repair itself before he started kindergarten that following year. So a few weeks into that school year, we had a traumatic health scare with my husband, which thankfully he made a full recovery, followed by the very next week, Gavin got diagnosed with croup for the 8th time in his young life, and the pediatrician said it was only a matter of time before he developed full-blown asthma. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I decided to finally be open to Jill and to Juice Plus, and I figured I don't care what it costs. We'll figure out a way to make it work. And work Juice Plus into our budget because it couldn't hurt us. It could only help us. And I'm so glad that we did. Gav stopped being plagued with upper respiratory infections. He had battled since he was only 3.5 months old. My husband's health continued to improve, as does all of ours. And then after seeing such success and naturally sharing it myself, I signed up as a representative. And in a very short period of time, I replaced my teaching income. And now I'm making more money than I ever did teaching. My 3rd pregnancy with my Juice Plus baby, Declan, and by far my healthiest. And best of all, I have such peace of mind knowing that we're getting such powerful nutrition into our bodies every single day, even on a day like today, where unfortunately we had another bit of a scare this morning as my son Gavin experienced a seizure for the first time ever while at school. I'm so thankful that he has been eating Juice Plus for almost 6 years. He did make a full recovery, thankfully, and already has taken some extra omegas today to help him continue his recovery while we wait for some answers. But, when I look back on the past 6 years, it truly is incredible to me how powerful an impact was made on our family because of the bravery of my friend, my best friend Jill. And that is what is so awesome about our business, that we can drastically impact the lives of our friends, the people that we care about most. And that's what we get paid to do. So I think that's pretty incredible. But how do we make new friends and then also strengthen our relationships we currently have by improving our relationship skills and having a strong understanding of personality types so that we can honor and respect them while also helping them achieve their greatness. And I think when we think about personality types, probably two words come to mind: introvert and extrovert. And what is so great about our business is that no matter which category you tend to fall into more, you can utilize your gifts to make this business work for you. There is a common misbelief that extrovert means outgoing and introvert means shy, but that's not the case. It really comes down to how one re-energizes themselves. Extroverts get their energy from others, and introverts kind of get their energy zapped from being around too many people. They re-energize by spending more time in solitude, more time alone. So you know the old saying, how opposites attract. Jill and I tend to fall on opposite sides of the spectrum, where I'm more extroverted and Jill is more introverted. But what's amazing about our friendship and our working relationship is how we truly balance one another out. You know, I like to take risks and love planning in-person events, and she's a processor, an analyzer, and an amazing listener. So when I talk to somebody who is a bit more introverted, they often tell me, well, I'm not like you. How can I be successful in this business like you are? And that's when I love to bring them to Jill, because she shows them how they, too, can be successful in this business. So really, we have to understand the differences in these two basic personality types so that we can recognize them when we're talking to somebody, respect them, and then help them shine in the way that fits them the best. Again, extrovert versus introvert really is based off of how people respond to stimuli, how they process information, and how they recharge. It's so much more than outgoing versus shy. So I'm going to ask everybody right now to think about someone that they have a relationship with who tends to be more introverted. Maybe it's a current customer or a current teammate. Maybe it's a coworker or a neighbor or a gym buddy who you would love to have on your team. Here are some tips on how to care for introverts. First, respect their need for privacy. 2 is to never embarrass them in public. 3 is to let them observe first in new situations. And I feel like this tip is really, really huge when maybe we invite somebody to an event. You know, at first, whenever I have a guest, I want to show them around and introduce them to everybody because that's what I want. But this isn't about me. This is about the person who I'm bringing on. So if I'm bringing a guest to an event, you know, I think this is really important. This is where you want them to kind of check it out quietly first. And then give them time to think. Don't demand instant answers. I love this as an extrovert because for me, silence during a conversation is incredibly uncomfortable. And so if I ask a question and somebody's processing, I'm like, you already asked another question? What the silence is uncomfortable for me. And that's where I love these tips because it really can kind of help us clue in how we talk and serve the person in front of us. So give them that processing time. And then number 5 is don't interrupt them. Again, something I've been guilty of in the past. Number 6, give them advance notice of expected changes in their lives. Number 7, give them a 15-minute warning to finish whatever they're doing. This is a huge one. Number 8 is to reprimand and correct them privately. So maybe you have a teammate who said something or you want to guide them in a different direction. You know, it's important to, if it's an introvert, to do that in private. Maybe having a one-on-one meeting with them or something. Along with number 9, teach them new skills privately. You know, I love this. Sometimes I benefit from being in that whole group, but an introvert might need that one-on-one training. Number 10 is to enable them to find one best friend who has similar interests and abilities. Again, so going back to the event kind of process, I'm thinking, if I know somebody is really interested in working out, at CrossFit or whatever, taking that introvert and pairing them up with somebody who has that common interest rather than introducing them to everyone in the room. And then number 11, don't push them to make lots of friends. And number 12, respect their introversion. Don't try to remake them into extroverts. So powerful. But then on the flip side of this, who in your life is an extrovert? Who would you like to strengthen your relationship with that tends to be more extroverted? Who would you like on your team that's more extroverted? So here are some tips to care for them. Respect their independence. You know, a lot of times I think extroverts are like go-getters and let me just write myself. You want to guide the guidelines, but let them find their style. Number 2, compliment them in the company of others. I love compliments. Number 3, accept and encourage their enthusiasm. Number 4, allow them to explore and talk things out. I kind of teased Jill when we were practicing. I was like, oh, you've had so much practice with me on this, haven't you? But it's definitely true. As an extrovert, I need to recognize when working with extroverts that I need to let them process out loud because I want to give solutions. So that's huge. Number 5, thoughtfully surprise them. Number 6, understand when they are busy. They will get back to that boxer, I promise. Number 7, let them dive right in. Number 8, offer them options. Options are huge. Let them kind of feel that independence by giving them those options, allowing them to choose. Number 9, make physical and verbal gestures of affection. Our extroverts are huggers. They want to be hugged. They want to hug you. You know, just even giving them like a great job, and people love that. And then number 10, let them shine. So I hope that this is helpful, and I hope you guys are able to kind of visualize and think about some introverts and extroverts in your lives and how you can better serve them. And now that you have some tips on how to tailor your responses to these folks in front of you, Jill has some great tips on winning friends and influencing people. Jill?
Thank you, Andrea. Loved all of that. I love that we really become students of people, you know, and really understanding what are basic needs of someone, because you can usually identify pretty quickly which category people are in, but really it comes back to building those relationships. Starts with who are we talking to, you know. So I recently read a great book. It's really the textbook for building relationships, and it's a book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book has been around since the 1930s, and it is still as relevant today as it was then. So I'd encourage everybody to go out and read that. It's an easy read, super quick, lots of great tips. But I just wanted to pull out kind of my top 5 for us today for how to win friends and influence people. So the number one is become genuinely interested in people. And it has to be sincere, or people will know right away, right? You can totally see through that, and you'll be turned off. We need to listen to what people are saying. You know, and sometimes as an extrovert, we can be talking, but are we actually listening? And sometimes as an introvert, we're not actually even engaging them enough to ask them enough questions to get them to open up. But people really do love to talk about themselves, and we should encourage them to do so. Keep asking questions. Even if they kind of turn back to you, say some things, but then go right back. You know, even there was a study done by the New York Telephone Company, and it made a study of telephone conversations to find out which word is the most frequently used. And I'm sure you guessed it, it was the word I. It was used almost 4,000 times in 500 telephone conversations. So it's pretty incredible. People really do want to talk about themselves. And we need to listen when people are speaking. We don't want to just take our turn to speak. And you know those people who are just waiting for their turn. And, I mean, how often do you really want to keep a conversation going with them or continue to share with them what you're all about? You know, and if we really listen long enough, people will deliver their needs to you on a silver platter. And of course, in our business, we have something that can help 2 extremely common needs of health and financial security. So number 1 is become genuinely interested in people. Number 2 is to be positive and affirming. According to B.F. Skinner, a world-famous psychologist, you know, he proved that an animal rewarded for good behavior will learn much more rapidly and retain what is learned far more effectively than an animal punished for bad behavior. I'm sure we've all had these experiences, but it's just important when we're having relationships with people and we're working with them. Maybe it's a new team member that you've never really met, you don't have a relationship with them. You know, how can we encourage them, you know, and be positive and affirming and lift them up? Everything should be celebrated. Everything is a win as they're really engaging and getting started. You know, there's no room for criticism, really. We never want to criticize. It'll break trust either directly, meaning you're criticizing them directly, or if you're saying a criticism to somebody else about someone else, that person immediately breaks trust with you too because they're wondering if you're going to say it about them. So we really only want to speak words of affirmation and encouragement, and is really seeking out the positive first every time. Andrea does something so great that I always love, which is anywhere she goes, she finds a way to compliment someone. Well, I love your necklace. Your earrings are great. Where did you get that handbag? Like, whatever it is. And people feel good, right? Immediately they are warmed up to her. We should really go back and try to understand people, too, figure out why they do what they do. That's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism. It truly breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. Even God himself does not propose to judge man until the end of his days, and we should be just like that. And a part of being positive is to smile. You must have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. People can even tell if you're smiling over the phone. So I would encourage a challenge to smile at someone every hour of the day for a week. And in fact, there was one story, one man did so, and it changed his life. He had become a grouchy man who had seldom smiled at his wife for 18 years, so he agreed to try it for a week. He woke up the first morning and said to himself, Bill, I'm going to wipe the scowl off my face today, and I'm going to start to smile, and it's going to begin right now. He greeted with his wife with a smile and a good morning, dear. Good morning, my dear. He was warned prior to this challenge that people may become surprised. His wife was literally shocked and bewildered, to say the least. He told her that she could expect more of this as a regular occurrence. This changed attitude of his brought more happiness into his home in 2 months since starting than there was in the last year, just by choosing to smile. So some days we don't feel like smiling, right? And we say maybe don't go outside for those days. But you actually can first force yourself to smile. Acting as if you're happy will actually tend to make you happier. The act of smiling, which is more under your direct control, your direct physical control, will indirectly regulate the feeling of being happier, which is not always under our direct control. So always starting with a smile. And when you're out meeting people or following up or doing customer care or even handling objections, really do so with a genuine smile, and people will want to be around you, and they'll be warm to you, they'll be building trust with you, and this is what we do in this business. So tip number 3 is to give honest and sincere appreciation. There really is only one way to get anybody to do anything, and that is by making the other person want to do it. And according to Dr. John Dewey, a profound philosopher, he stated that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important, or the desire to be great, whether you're introverted or extroverted and you want to be acknowledged maybe more privately, or you want to be celebrated in front of everyone. The desire to be great is still so tremendous that it drives a significant amount of human behavior. So it's really important to, provide that appreciation for them and lift people up. That's what we get to do in this business. Even Charles Schwab, he was one of the first people in America to be paid a salary of over $1 million a year. And he stated that I consider my ability to arouse enthusiasm among my people the greatest asset I possess. And the way to develop the best that is in a person is by appreciation and encouragement. There's nothing else that so kills the ambitions of a person as criticism from superiors. I remember even telling Karen Johnson, my sponsor, I was like, the worst thing you could do for me is criticize me without production, without, speaking the truth in love to move me in the right direction. To me, that would just squash all of my energy. So she finds a wonderful way to just continue to support and encourage me and move me forward, without criticizing. He goes on to say, I never criticize anyone. I believe in giving a person an incentive to work. I'm anxious to praise but loath to find fault. He goes on to even say, in my wide associational life with meeting with many and great people in various parts of the world, I have yet to find a person, however great or exalted in his station, who did not do better work and put forth greater effort under a spirit of approval than he would ever do under a spirit of criticism. We need nourishment for our self-esteem, and we can be this incredible source for the people in our community and on our team, and together you will all accomplish great things. So the 4th tip is really to arouse an eager want. And a lot of this is really figuring out people, what is their desire, and how do we wrap what we have around them. Talk to others about what they want, truly, and show them how to get it. That is what we get to do in this business. Action springs out of what we fundamentally desire. whether it's security, peace of mind, being a part of something. There's so many reasons that someone's going to do this business. And the best piece of advice, which could be given to the world by persuaders, whether in business, in the home, in the school, or politics, is first arouse in the other person that you go want. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. And this is truly a skill that can be developed. And that's a part of this business, that climb to NMD, that building to NMD is about strengthening these skills. It can be learned just like anything else. So really learn what makes people tick, what gets them excited. Do they love meeting new people, being in front of the room, having a coffee date with someone, talking on the phone, sharing information on social media? Whatever it is, inspire them to lean into their strengths to achieve their desires. Anchor their why, anchor their desires, and then show them the way. So truly I tell you, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. So get to know people and wrap what we have around their desires, and you truly will change the world. And the last tip is really to, again, be positive, but don't argue. Don't argue really ever. I never argue. Even my husband, I remember when we got together, people would be like, you guys never argue. Well, we really tried to have conversations because I really learned early on you can't win an argument. You can't, because if you lose it, you lose it. And if you win, you still lose it. You'll make them feel inferior, and ultimately a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So when we have a difference of opinion, we need to stay calm. We need to listen first. We need to look for areas of agreement. We never want to say you're wrong, and if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. Even Aesop said that the sun can make you take off your coat more quickly than the wind, and kindliness, the friendly approach and appreciation, can make people change their minds more readily than all the bluster and storming in the world. So start with yes questions. Truly, a skillful speaker at the outset will look for a number of yes responses. So maybe have some in your arsenal. Get with your sponsor and think about questions that you can be asking people. Do you think it would be? Do you think you would feel better if you were healthier? Do you think if you were able to get more fruits and vegetables into your life, do you think you would have more energy? If you really start with yes questions and use what we refer to as the Socratic method of asking questions, you will allow people to kind of fully express themselves, and ultimately the other person will kind of feel like this is all his or her idea. So this is truly such a process in this business of building these relationships, but it pays big, not only financially, because you're going to see a huge difference in your paycheck, but the only reason you're going to see a big difference in your paycheck is because you're going to help so many more people. So just really would encourage you all to take some time and think about these 5 tips. I'm going to repeat them really quickly. 1 is to become genuinely interested in people. 2 is to be positive and affirming. 3 is to give honest and sincere appreciation. 4 is to arouse in others an eager want. And 5 is not to argue. So thank you all so much. I'm going to pass it over to Cheryl, but I also wanted to thank Andrea, too, for your awesome contribution. So, Cheryl?
Well, thank you both so much for such an awesome contribution, because you are so right. It's all based in relationships, and I love the way really you started this, that relationships are the currency of our world, and really a beautiful statement when you think about that, and so much good information. And I hadn't planned really to share this, but I came across it, and I think it might just fit right in here tonight with what you all are saying. And it's a quote by Fred Rogers, and I know all of you know who Mr. Rogers was. He was the one who had Welcome to My Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers show for boys and girls. And if you look at his life, it was amazing, because he really dedicated himself to helping children really learn how to respect and love each other and build relationships. And I love this quote that I read recently that Mr. Rogers said, and it was this: I believe that appreciation is a holy thing, that when we look at what's best in a person we happen to be with at the moment, We're doing what God does all the time. So in loving and appreciating our neighbor, we're participating in something sacred. And I think that really beautifully just, speaks to what you all were saying tonight. So thank you so much for a great information and great call. Thank you both, Andrea and Jill. So for everyone on the line, appreciate you all being with us tonight, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you all soon at the conference in Tampa and hearing you on call. So, girls, thank both of you so much, and to everyone on the line, have a good evening.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.